when you think of those years, how important architecture is to drawing people in to a positive experience. I mean, you know, we're working on Liliha. Lorraine and I worked on a number of projects, and I have such regard for the architectural eye, because when we are, you know, we have graffiti. All of our districts have a problem with graffiti. We paint out the graffiti, and it comes right back, you know. But we've found that when you paint it out with an architectural eye, all of a sudden it's a work of art, you know, and they're not going to touch it. And you, Cam, didn't you did an article on graffiti?
Yeah, we had an article about graffiti. And I remember the last quote of the piece was one of the writers, as they call themselves, the graffiti artists, said, you can't say it's not a crime because it is, but you can't say it's not art because it is. But there is definitely within the community, I think, a respect for structures that show signs of being cared for. The graffiti artists who take their work seriously actually go and find out-of-the-way places where they can work. You know, there's another, maybe a younger, more juvenile delinquent type that will spray paint anything. But the bigger murals and the more serious works of art, the people who do that kind of work don't seem interested in messing up a building that shows signs of people really caring for it. So it's an interesting phenomenon.
Yes, I mean, that was such a fascinating article in Honolulu Magazine. You know, someday I want to talk to you about how you got to sit down and talk to these people, because that was very enlightening. But maybe, Lorraine, maybe you could talk to us a little bit about the Sanju Pagoda. You know, Lorraine and I met over the Sanju Pagoda, saving that beautiful, unique structure. And it's not where we want it to be yet. You know, we'd love it repainted and restored, but at least it's not demolished, and it was important. I'm grateful because it was important to a lot of people in my district, you know, in the Nu'uanu Valley, because there were niches in there that they had their members of their family, and I can't ever forget. I mean, there must have been how many hundreds, if not breaking almost 1,000 people in that Kavana Nakoa cafeteria when we got there, and people were just aghast. You would think about knocking down this special pagoda. But do you want, because I know you're working on a book and all that with your Japanese temples. And
actually, yes, I did bring a slide of the Sanju Pagoda.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
there it is,
in
all its glory.
In our skyline. I think we met at the very first meeting.
Yes.
Where the shareholders attended and talked about the fate of the Sanju Pagoda. I worked with them for a couple of years on looking at how we could restore the Sanju Pagoda. With so many stakeholders involved, that was kind of a big task, and unfortunately that was something that we could never work out. But I'm proud of the fact that we kept it from demolition, and we did get it on the National Historic Register. So I don't really know.
I'm just aghast that they would even think of destroying a monument like that. I see tourists stop there all the time to look at that and take pictures. I just could not imagine that not being there.
And in fact, when they built the Pali, they put a lookout right there so that you can actually see the pagoda. And when I was a child driving by there when it was in perfectly good condition, I was like, wow, what is that? So,
Now, I don't know if this was the case with the pagoda, which was on the 2006 list of endangered historic places. When you own a historic structure, you own a very expensive problem. Maintaining an old building is endless work, and not every organization that has inherited or owns a historic property now has the means to keep it up. There is a Shinto shrine on Maui in our most recent list, and it's a beautiful building, and no one associated with it wants to see anything bad happen to it, but membership in that congregation has dwindled over the years, and the means to take care of it are harder to come by. So it can be a complicated problem even when everyone has the best intentions.
So true.
I would certainly hope that some of our stimulus package monies would flow this way and be able to preserve these sites for all to come and see and experience.
We would love that. In fact, I actually was hoping to look, hoping to see that happen and look into it. Shovel-ready projects are what are being looked at first. But what's encouraging is, our president, when he was a senator, I was 1 year behind who is affectionately known, Barry, President Barack Obama. But when he was in the Senate, in Congress, he was a member of the Heritage Caucus there. There is a National Heritage Caucus. And so, it's promising that he would understand these issues and how important, because he comes from that background of community grassroots and understanding what well-designed and vital community, how that translates to some of the other issues that we're always trying to address, low test scores, small businesses, going out. And I hate to report, but I've literally had 3 just in the last 8 months. And these are crucial. Uptown Simon, Mochi store.
Wow.
Yeah, they're the boiled peanut is still there, but Mochi store, now Spinning Web. So those are my 3, right within stone's throw. And these are longtime businesses. So when you help out historic preservation, which is about guiding, getting people to want to walk down the sidewalk. I mean, it's great for transportation, right? I mean, we have congestion. Walk down that sidewalk, patronize that small business, and then get to know your neighbors, get to know the business. And the next time you get to know the business, especially as a teacher, maybe they're going to get involved in the school, or they're going to get involved in something else, which is going to just, again, a win-win situation. But I'm not sure about that. We were looking into that even for the natatorium. Long time, I think, support from our congressional delegation. I know a couple of members anyway, at least. And I know Maisie Hirono is a member of the Heritage Caucus. So we hope that there's some awareness there. Certainly locally, we've been working on the Heritage Caucus down here, and we're happy to report that we have a number of members and trying to raise, again, awareness. We had our Historic Preservation Day here with the new opening of the area of the YWCA, opened up their new room. But still there is a lot of education. And speaking of the Japanese temples, I mean, we are shifting. The economy and the communities have shifted.